Hey everybody, today I'm going to review the new science fiction film Dune, the 2021 remake. This is actually the third adaptation of the Dune book. There was already a Dune movie back in 1984 and was directed by David Lynch. Although it was a critical and box office failure at the time, and David Lynch himself has disowned the film, it did however become a cult classic. There's even a Dune miniseries back in 2000 which I have not watched. Similar to Stephen King's It, this Dune movie will be split into two. Obviously, this is known as Dune Part 1. Originally planned to be released last year in 2020, but due to COVID-19 pandemic, they postponed it to this year. I saw it in IMAX and it was amazing. One of the most fantastic and mind-blowing films I had ever seen, and I'm going to tell you why I think this way. The story of this film took place in the far future. Is about the House Atreides who lives in the ocean planet Caladan has decided to travel to a dangerous planet, Arrakis, when they are being assigned by the Emperor to accept the duty of mining the spice, a valuable substance that bestows its user heighten and expand consciousness. However, when the House Atreides are in the planet Arrakis to get the production of the spice back on track, they have all been thrust into war with their enemies, the House Harkonnen. Although I have not read the book, I find the story of this film to be excellent. Even though there are few parts in this film that did drag on, there are a lot of exciting moments and surprising moments in this film, and some funny and sad moments as well. The special effects in this film are wonderful. I really love the environments in this film. I can tell that there are a lot of CGI in this film, especially those giant sandworms. There are also some practical effects in this film as well. The giant sandworms in this film are very similar to the sandworms in the original Dune movie, as well as other films like Beetlejuice, Star Wars, and the Tremors movies. The designs of the buildings, the weapons, the spaceships, and the costumes are very unique. The makeups in this film are also very unique as well. The action scenes in this film are very intense and jaw-dropping to watch. I really had an amazing time seeing the fight scenes and the battle sequences. Now this film had a lot of famous actors and some reunions in this film. Let's start with Paul Atreides, played by Timothée Chalamet, who is from Interstellar, Call Me By Your Name, and Little Women. I think he did a splendid job playing that young boy who is the son of the noble family of House Atreides, and a dude called Heir that is good at fighting, had a vision of a young girl with blue eyes on Arrakis named Chani, and question his future on the planet. Then there's Lady Jessica, played by Rebecca Ferguson, is Paul's mother and Duke Leto's wife, who is the Bene Gesserit. Duke Leto Atreides, played by Oscar Isaac, is Paul's father and Lady Jessica's husband, who bestowed with the stewardship of Arrakis. Chani, played by Zendaya, is a young freeman girl, and Paul's love interest that only appears in Paul's vision in this film, and she didn't really show up until the last minutes, but we will see more of her in the next film. Also appearing in this film is Gurney Halleck, played by Josh Brolin, Thorfinn Hawat, played by Stephen McKinley Henderson, who is from Lincoln, Dr. Wellington Yui, played by Qin Qian, who is from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2046, Red Cliff Part 1 and 2, and The Grand Master, Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa, Helen Moham, played by Charlotte Rampling, Dr. Liet Canis, played by Sharon Duncan Brewster, and Stilgard, played by Javier Bardem. Gurney Halleck is a weapons master of House Atreides and one of Paul's mentors. Thorfinn Hawat is the Menant of House Atreides. Dr. Wellington Yui is the Suk Doctor in the employ of House Atreides. Duncan Idaho is the sword master of House Atreides and also one of Paul's mentors. Helen Moham is a Bene Gesserit revented mother and the Empress's trustseer. Dr. Liet Canis is the imperial ecologist and judge of the change of Arrakis. Stilgard is the leader of the Freeman tribe at Setich Tabur, who didn't really have much to do in this film, but we will see more of him in the second film. This is the second time Javier Bardem has worked with Josh Brolin, since they worked together in No Country for Old Men. Now for the villains. Baron Valdemar Harkonnen, played by Stellan Skarsgård, Glossu Rabin, played by Dave Bautista, and Peter de Veris, played by David Dismalchin. Baron Valdemar Harkonnen is the enemy of House Atreides and former steward of Arrakis. He's pretty much a mixture of Jabba the Hutt and Marlon Brando's character from Apocalypse Now. Glassu Rabin is the nephew of Baron Harkonnen, who also didn't really have much to do in this film, but we will see more of him in the second film. Peter Deveris is the Menant of the House of Cohen. I actually find it funny that Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Zendaya, and David Dastmalchian have all worked together on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. David Dastmalchian also worked on the DC movies, along with Aquaman and Khal Drogo himself, Jason Momoa. Now that's pretty much a reunion right there. Denis Ledoux, who directed Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, and Blade Runner 2049, did an incredible job directing this movie, especially he made this film more epic and beautiful looking. The music composed by Hans Zimmer sounds very exciting, groundbreaking, and it feels like a science fiction movie. So overall, this is a wonderful science fiction movie. While not 100% perfect, it is better than the original 1984 Dune movie. It's definitely one of the most wonderful science fiction films I had ever seen. So far, it is one of the best films I saw this year, along with Godzilla vs. Kong, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, A Quiet Place Part 2, Raya and the Last Dragon, Luca and the Suicide Squad. I am definitely looking forward to see Dune Part 2. However, Dune Part 2 will be released 2 more years in 2023. Anyway, if you're a fan of science fiction, this is a must-see. So I give this movie 4.5 out of 5 nuclear bombs.